Hello everyone, good afternoon, and welcome to the Water Research Foundation Subscriber Briefing. My name is Brenly McKenna, and I'm the Director of Subscriber Services, and I'll be kicking off this website. I'd like to run through a few housekeeping items before we begin. If at any time you have questions, you can submit the questions you have through a question box throughout the webcast. It's located to the left of your screen, and we will hold a Q&A session at the end of the webcast. You can also download the slides under Event Resources. This is also located on the left side of your screen. We'll have a few survey questions at the end, so be sure to answer them so we can better accommodate any feedback you have in the future. And lastly, the slides and recording will be available at the end, and you can view it on our on-demand section under our website. So today we are joined by our CEO, Peter Gravid, where he will outline with some updates and both upcoming and previous updates to the foundation. He will be followed by Chris Harris, our Digital Communications Manager, who will give us a brief demo of our brand new website. Chris will be followed by Michael Dirks and Frank Blaha, who work with our utility subscribers, and we'll talk about some other events regarding WRF, some exciting new press releases, and some other articles. And then we will be followed by a Q&A session at the end. So with that, I will turn it over to Peter Gravid.
Hey, thank you, Brenly, and wanted to welcome everybody on the call today. It's always a delight to connect with so many of our subscribers, and I know we had a bunch of folks signed up today, so really exciting chance to share some information with you about some of the latest goings on at the Foundation and some opportunities for us to work very closely together in the future. And it was terrific to see so many of you at ACE in Denver earlier this year, back in June, and I'm looking forward to seeing many of you in the coming weeks at a variety of events, probably maybe the biggest one, the WEFTEC meeting in Chicago that's coming up. I've also had the opportunity to visit with quite a number of you where you live in your own utilities, and most recently had the opportunity to make a run through Northern and Central California, where I was able to visit with San Francisco PUC and East Bay Mud and LA DWP and Orange County, and then went over to Las Vegas and met with folks from the Southern Nevada Water Authority. And then just last week I was down in Auckland and in Australia, in Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide, visiting with subscribers there, and it's such an inspirational opportunity to connect with folks, learning about the really exciting things that you do, and getting to hear a lot more about ways that the Research Foundation has supported you in the past and opportunities to support you in the future. And I think I would say that one of the most important takeaways for me from these discussions is really having the clear sense together of the critical leadership opportunities that we have within the water sector, particularly in areas of true one water opportunities to manage water resources, and for the Foundation in particular, focusing on the critical role of science in smart decision making and policy development as we're looking to address the very significant challenges facing the water sector. This is really striking in places that I've traveled really all around the country and now across the globe in the few months that I've been here with the Research Foundation. Issues related to climate change and extreme weather, and whether that be flooding or some of the extraordinary drought that we've seen in a number of places around the world. Challenges that many of us have faced, and perhaps it's safe to say almost all of us on this line have faced recently, related to emerging constituents and concerns that our customers have about emerging constituents. challenges around moving towards addressing water resources holistically, and in particular, moving towards a much broader and more balanced consideration of the role of both point and non-point sources in terms of implications for water resource management, and how we have to move to a place where we're able to look at these challenges in more of a holistic fashion. And I think, one of the other things that has been quite striking for me is not only across North America, but really around the globe. These challenges are worldwide. And one of the most striking things is that the Research Foundation is truly uniquely positioned to help to provide leadership on these issues. And a lot of these issues speak to some policy challenges, and I'm not suggesting that the Research Foundation is going to play in policy dialogue so much as recognizing that we have a great opportunity together with all of you, with our subscribers, to bring the best science to inform smart policy decisions, and to make sure that science has a seat at the table as we're talking through some of the challenges that we're going to be facing going forward. And we so greatly appreciate the support that you all provide through your subscriptions that allow us at the Foundation to provide this sort of leadership. And there's some very important work that we're doing right now at the Foundation to help to grow our leadership in a number of these areas. And the first I'll point to is strategic planning. So we're in the process right now of developing an updated strategic plan for the Foundation, which is very much focused on a One Water approach and bringing the best leadership in science and innovation to the water sector. This strategic plan is going to be taken to our Board of Directors in December for their consideration. We have been working internally and with the board already on this, and we're going to be having a meeting in October of this year to engage with a strategic planning committee made up of board members to help guide this. We've also reached out to some subscribers for their perspectives on major challenges facing the water sector and how the Research Foundation can best address those challenges. Another area that we're very much focused on is rates, and I know this is an issue that is near and dear to all of you on the line, and you're aware that when we completed the merger of the Foundation in January of 2018, we essentially were left with very different rate structures across the organization for different types of utilities, whether they be stormwater or water reuse utilities or drinking water or wastewater utilities. And so we're taking that challenge on head on as well, and we will be presenting an updated rate structure to the Board of Directors also for their consideration at our December meeting. And that's the long-term view of rates. I also wanted to just give you a quick reminder of the direction we received from the board on the 2020 rates. And those are based on subscriber class. And what we have here in the slide that's appearing now is the rate increase, percent rate increase across various subscriber classes. The drinking water services 3.1%, wastewater services 5.1%, reuse 5.1%, stormwater 3.1%, consultants 3.1%, and manufacturers 3.1%. And I know you may say, well, there's some differences in those rates, and those really reflect both the need to have some revenue stabilization for the Foundation, but also reflecting the pretty significant differences we have across subscriber classes. And this is really the central issue that we'll be taking on with our One Water rate that we're in the process of developing. And one of the key things that we'll be working through with the board in December will not only be settling on what the right structure of that One Water rate is going to be, but also talking about what sort of a glide path we can put in place to help us transition, because we don't want to create a shock to the system, certainly in terms of all of you and the rates that we're asking you to pay to support the work of the foundation. So those are all things that are going to be coming up in the December board meeting as well. And as we look forward, there's a lot of other exciting things happening even this year. One is the Water Reuse Conference in San Diego. It's just a couple weeks out now, and we're going to have quite active participation there. And Water Reuse was kind enough to partner with us to build a research track into the Water Reuse program, and you'll see many points in that program where we're going to be talking about some of the really exciting research that we're doing, in large part in partnership with the State Water Board, State of California, that's supporting quite a bit of research that will ultimately help them in the development of their state regulations for direct potable reuse. And while I'm there, I think we may have a couple folks from some San Diego utilities on the line today. I'm hoping to be able to visit with you in your offices or for coffee at a side meeting during that conference as well. And then we have the U.S. Water Alliance conference coming up, the One Water Summit that's happening in Austin, also in September. And then, as I already mentioned, WEFTEC, very excited about all the activities, including the LIFT breakfast at WEFTEC. And LIFT, as you know, Leaders Innovation Forum for Technology, is going to be a focus there at WEFTEC and their Innovation Pavilion. And WEF has been such a terrific partner with us on LIFT to advance innovation in the water sector. All those really exciting things, where those are building on some things that we did earlier this year. One of the ones that I'll point out is the briefing we did on harmful algal blooms on Capitol Hill, in which we were able to partner with a number of our subscriber utilities and board members as well, from Cleveland, Ohio, and also from Salem, Oregon, and present the picture to really show some of the significant challenges that utilities have faced on harmful algal blooms. And it was terrific there also to have a great science presentation from American Water. So it was really a great partnership across a number of significant subscribers and board members of ours, where we're able to really emphasize the role of science in decision-making around challenges like harmful algal blooms. And Frank Blaha will be talking about an upcoming briefing we have, second one that's coming up on the Hill that we're really excited about here in just about a month or so. So I'm going to stop there because I think that will help us to preserve some time for questions at the end. I'm going to be staying on the line throughout the call. And I think we're not going to take questions at this stage, but when we get to the end of the program, I will be available to address questions you may have. So a big thank you again from me on behalf of the Research Foundation for your terrific support and your partnership. The opportunity to work with all of you is part of what makes this work so exciting. So I will turn it back over to Brenly to carry on with the program. And as I said, I'll stay on for questions later.
All right, thank you, Peter. Up next, we have Chris Harris, who is going to be walking us through a brief website demonstration. So on to you, Chris.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christopher Harris, and I'm the Digital Communications Manager here at the Water Research Foundation. I'm here today to provide you with a short walkthrough of our brand new website and its exciting new features. Before we begin, though, I just want to provide some context for what you're about to see. Our goal with this site was to improve your user experience, really to make it easier for you to navigate through and stay up to date with our extensive library of One Water research. We used examples from magazines, newspapers, and related research organizations to marry the worlds of editorial content and research content with a simple, intuitive design that makes content easier to navigate, identify, and read. With your feedback, we then created a new navigational structure and corresponding information taxonomy that organizes our content, including project reports, resources and deliverables, news and magazine articles, and more, based on their relationships with one another. In doing so, we have removed the information silos from our content and given you the ability to more fluidly explore the content you want and content related to the content you want. Speaking of exploring related content, let's dive into some of the exciting new features of the website. To start, let's talk content. We've organized our content into two different formats, topic hubs and topics. For your convenience, we've organized all of our topic hubs in the drop-down box under the research menu item. A list of all topics and topic hubs can be found using the all topic A to Z link, also in that drop-down box. Topics, such as affordability, are pre-populated search lists that include all projects, resources, news, and events corresponding with that specific topic. They can be filtered based on relationships using the column on the left. Topic hubs, on the other hand, were designed as a starting point for your exploration into our content. They essentially act as a collection of everything going on with our research, from project highlights and videos to recent updates with ongoing projects, news, resources, and then related projects and related topics. Keep an eye on this button right here at the top of the page, as we'll discuss this functionality in a little bit. To dive deeper, let's click on one of these related topics to get a better sense for what a project page actually looks like. Our project pages act as centralized locations for all of the interim and final deliverables associated with a project, including project updates, final reports, executive summaries, case studies, publications, web tools, and webcasts. You can access these resources by either clicking on the resource button in the secondary navigation menu or by scrolling down the page. Also included on the project pages are related projects, which give you the ability to continue your exploration of our extensive resource library. Scrolling back to the top, I want to highlight the most unique feature we've implemented on our project pages, the follow this functionality. Bear with me 1 second as I log in to demonstrate this feature. Located in the right corner of every project page and topic hub is the Follow This button. Clicking this button will add the project page or topic hub to your own personalized account. As you follow more and more items, you'll start to build your own personal repository of WRF research. This repository will be specific to your needs, interests, and by association, the area of the water sector in which you work. To access your personalized account, click on the My Account link located in the top right corner of every page. There are two different ways to view the content you're following. The expanded view, as seen here on the My Dashboard page, provides a more detailed overview of what you're following. You'll see notifications at the top of the page when items are updated. You can explore project updates, delve deeper into the topic hubs you're following based on deliverables, project highlights, and news, or view your followed projects based on recently completed and recently updated. If you prefer a more consolidated view, then you can click on the Favorite Projects and Topics link located in the secondary navigation menu at the top of the page. This view will provide a more consolidated list view of all of the topics and the projects that you're following. You can remove and unfollow topics and projects by clicking on the X associated with each item on this page. To make the most of this functionality, I highly encourage you to start following as many topics and projects as you possibly can, or as many as are related to your day-to-day job. On the topic of personalization, you'll also notice that in addition to your personalized account, certain sections of the website will change depending on your actions. For example, when I bring up this incognito window and scroll down, you'll see a Who We Are section describing who we are as the Water Research Foundation and what we do. But when I close this page and go back to the home page when I'm already logged in, you'll notice that this section turns into a welcome back section. We've implemented these different types of personalization across the site in order to reduce the barriers you may face when trying to find the information you need. The last item I want to demonstrate is search, which we have drastically improved from our previous websites. Our goal with search was to make it as easy as possible for you to find what you need. So we built a system that allows you to search by keyword, 4-digit project number, alphanumeric project numbers, project and resource title, principal investigator, and research manager. The search results page will display a list of corresponding and related items based on how relevant the item is to your search term. Results include topic hubs, project pages, reports, case studies, news articles, events, and more. As I previously mentioned, you can filter your search results based on type using the options below the search bar. You can also modify your search based on related content by adding or removing topics to the left column. Finally, you can sort the results by relevancy or recency. Now, please keep in mind this is not the final iteration of our site. Our web team has and will continue to implement new features and fixes that improve your user experience throughout the site. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation. That concludes our overview of the new website and some of its features. As you begin to explore this site, should any questions arise, please don't hesitate to email me at charris@waterrf.org. Up next, you'll be hearing from our regional liaison, Michael Dirks.
Hey, thanks to Chris and all the contributors for bringing the new website launch to us. I have to say, within days of the new website launching, I almost instantly heard feedback from the Ontario area that they found the searchability and logic so much better, and that it made a lot of sense for what they were trying to find related to their needs in source water protection and for others in their departments across their group and organization. And that's a big accomplishment for all of the work that's amounted to about $700 million worth of research for over 2,350 completed projects to date, with 332 that are underway. And as Chris mentioned, there is an events location on the website to help you find out more about some of the events that Peter mentioned, and WRF in the next few weeks here, which I'll give you a bit of a draft overview on. So you'll see information on the events page about WRF Tech in Chicago. We will be there with both of our departments from the subscriber services and research management. The research programming has informed well over 30 presentations and conversations. There are pre-conference workshops and symposiums, so I'll share a little bit more about that. But the topics, as you can see throughout WRF, will stem around workforce of the future, all the way to integrated stormwater management and flood resilience, with information on food, energy, water nexus, and risk communications as well. Not all mashed together, but very, very enlightening conversations. Of course, we'll have a strong presence for LIFT and the challenge finals throughout the week of the conference. And you can also find out more about the conference from any of the team representing at our booth. As you can see in the lower teal bar on the screen here, we'll be at booth 8145 next to the Innovation Pavilion. So you'll also find on our events page that we have a registration promo code for WRF subscribers. So I wanted to let you know to find that there if you haven't already registered, likely many of you have. We will also be sharing a spotlight on research, better describing details about all of the 30 projects, informing a lot of the WRF events that we're supporting. The pre-conference workshops include the co-digestion workshop on Saturday, what can we handle. You can find more information through the WRF Tech registration code online. And then the WRF Tech special seminar is on the stormwater infrastructure lifecycle costs and planning using Classic. So these are two of the dozens of WRF research results helping to inform the programming throughout this particular conference. So I'll scan ahead to a little bit more about the recent research planning. The WRF research agenda is informed by a lot of busy activities throughout the year. I'll show a timeline about those activities in a minute. But the past quarter, we've been busy conducting and evaluating various ideas from many different sources, including all of our research advisory committees, various subscriber conversations via phone, in person, meeting with staff, foundation research, past research, and suggested research or ongoing efforts from the research portfolio I mentioned, different volunteers, especially our research advisory committee and our project advisory committees and technical advisory committees. And then, of course, our team, the internal staff team that listens to and synthesizes all these conversations together. We do have and did conduct a research needs survey prior to our last summer event, national event at ACE, and we will be synthesizing an article for that in the fourth quarter AWR. It'll be summarizing the results from that research needs survey. So stay tuned for that information in our fourth quarter AWR. So like I said, staff and research strategy committee experts from the water sector have refined all of these areas or sources of information to emphasize applied research and innovative processes and technologies. And these inputs amount to the WRF research agenda pillars, which are essentially these several programs listed here. So the 2019 research program timeline has amounted to where we stand with our research priority, and that we have ongoing proposal selections for RFPs that were released in the second quarter. We have moved forward the pre-proposals selected from tailored collaboration, so that's, that review is in consideration currently. And then facilitated research efforts are ongoing annually and at the present moment. Emerging opportunities, again, is an ongoing effort with monthly presentations and review. The only program that will have a unique cycle is our unsolicited program. So again, for more information about all of these tiers of programs, again, evaluated by our research strategy committee team and staff team, you can find more information about each pillar at wrf.org/programs, and that will guide you through the nuances. So looking ahead, and it'd be important to remind ourselves that we are on a tight turnaround to get into the new year. It's coming at us fast. It would be important to anticipate the pre-proposal timeline for the tailored collaboration program. We will launch that very early in 2020, in the first quarter. And again, this program is, again, it's been refined from our staff and research strategy committee so that it's a two-step process. And the initial pre-proposal of no more than 4 pages is to be submitted for review and screening. And again, that begins in Q1 next year. The second phase of that program is going to determine which have the greatest potential for impact or outcome, and those are evaluated for funding and approved for funding by a tailored collaboration review committee. Again, this comprises about 20% of the resources and the research budget from the foundation, from the subscription program, or I should say through the subscription. That said, facilitated research again next year, and unsolicited again, we did have a process in 2018, and it starts again in 2020. There will be new funds available Q1 for emerging opportunities, and the research planning is very active right now to get ready for the 2020 research program in the research priority area. So with that, I'll move forward to my last topic for the request for proposals. That there are actually 12 open RFPs right now, and the most common questions I have about these is, will these projects be looking for participation from utilities and staff participation? How can I participate? And the simple answer is for these 12 RFPs covering nutrient removal, PFAS, corrosion control, smart utilities, decentralized systems, lead, stormwater, bromate. The proposals are due September 12th and 24th, and they are still looking for participating utility volunteers. You can express your interest generally for all of them, or select a specific topic. Again, there's a link, WRF wrf.org/participate-research that will guide you to that application page. And that will help you better advise your colleagues or staff you'd like to nominate to be a representative for utility and participation on research to fill out that information. And we will share more information about those outcomes as soon as we can. But with that, that's all I have for you today. I'm going to hand it off to Frank Blaha, the regional liaison for our central states of the U.S.
Hello, and thank you, Mike. I'm going to shift gears slightly and talk a little bit about some of the methods that we have for engaging subscribers, engaging in the water community, and also in getting the word out about our activities and seeking input to them. And certainly our website is the single best source of information, but we also have a number of other resources that are worth noting and being aware of, so you know to look for them, mostly all on our website. And one of these key resources are our webcasts. And in 2018, we did 19 or 30 webcasts, depending on how you want to count them up. And most of these webcasts had over 200 attendees when they were being given. Most of these webcasts are on the order of 60 minutes long, covering the key results of a recently completed project or a project that should be completed in the very near future. That's kind of the focus of them. We have some that are more synthesis-oriented, where I might be presenting results from a few different documents or projects. But typically, it's addressing the key results of a given project. And a number of upcoming webcasts are given on this slide. One coming up on distributed energy resources that I'll touch on again a little further on in a couple of more slides. We also have 3 upcoming LIFT webinars in the next couple of months. And then also, well worth noting is the fact that our webcasts back for about 10 years are all archived on our website. And so you can go back and watch archived webcasts all the way back to about 2008 or so. So well over 100 webcasts are archived in that place. And the archived webcasts are very nice because you can stop, you can fast forward, you can go back. Did that presenter really say that? What was that key thing he just said? And so the archived webcasts are quite nice, and you can get to them through our website right now. Most recently, this August 13th webcast on participatory ergonomics to reduce injuries in water and wastewater employees from Project 4694 has recently been archived and is available for review on our website. That particular project looked at a participatory approach that involved the workers, which has been shown in other settings to be an effective way to identify solutions and interventions to prevent injury and improve safety of your workers. And this particular project includes a flexible user guide to help utilities apply this approach in their situations. We also have synthesis reports, which are another very useful communications document. The synthesis reports outline the accomplishments that the organization has made in the One Water space, and they detail how the organization's prior and current research and innovation activities have supported water in a holistic manner. At this time, we have 21 synthesis documents that are available for download on our website, and alphabetically speaking, they vary from asset management to water use and efficiency. These synthesis documents are 4 pages long, and about 1/2 of them, so 10 of the 21, I would qualify as water quality oriented, or a strong tie to water quality, which is representative of the vast body of our work. About 1/2 of it is water quality oriented, the other 1/2 is everything else that utilities might be interested in. Our key product from all of our work are our individual reports. In 2018, we had 88 final reports that were published, so approximately 88 projects that were completed in the course of the year. In the months of May, June, and July, so the last full quarter, we released 16 final reports this year, so we look like we're well on our way to have a similar number of final published reports this year of 2019. These 16 reports that were published cover a wide variety of topics, and I simply picked two here that I thought were indicative of the wide variety of work that we do. First is Project 4622, Understanding the Source and Fate of Polymer-Derived Nitrosamine Precursors. And this was a project with the principal investigator of Dr. Paul Westerhoff at Arizona State University. And most of our projects, and this one certainly, have multiple people involved in the teams, but Dr. Westerhoff was the principal investigator. And the primary focus of this project was to reduce NDMA formation and nitrosamine formation associated with polymers used for coagulation. The primary focus was on polydadmac as a polymer, and had a secondary focus on polyamines. And one of the findings that this report sort of underscored that has also been found elsewhere is that GAC, which is sometimes held up as a panacea for all water quality issues, is good at removing wastewater-derived precursors for nitrosamine precursors, but GAC is relatively ineffective at removal of the polymer-derived precursors, so not necessarily a panacea. Another project, again demonstrating the wide diversity of work that we do, was by Dr. Stephen Kenway at the University of Queensland in Australia, and that was Project 4625, Opportunities and Barriers for Renewable and Distributed Energy Resource Development at Drinking Water and Wastewater Utilities. If you follow the links through on this project, you'll find a 10-page executive summary and a 222-page final report. And this is addressing distributed energy usage, which tends to be small and dispersed systems. It's focused on energy generation. It includes positive ways to advance this, dispersed energy generation, and also some of the barriers to it, obviously. And in the U.S., this is a very important issue because in the U.S., nearly 2% of all of the electricity used is used for water and wastewater utilities. Another way that we engage with the water community are press releases and articles that might appear in different publications. There's a series of 4 here. These are all on our website under News and Events, so you can go and find the actual text of any of these. One of them by our Executive Director, Peter Gravid, the very first one, The Clean Water Calling by Dr. Peter Gravid, which starts with some of the events in Cleveland when the rivers were catching on fire and going through the contributions that the water and the wastewater utility world have made in terms of advancing water resources and the safety of potable water. And then of these 4 that are identified here, there's also microplastics, which is an area that we've been active in research for a number of years. In fact, our first published report on microplastics was 2015. But there's been a new interest generated by a recent USGS study that was published in mid-May of this year, titled "It Is Raining Plastics," so a title certain to catch people's attention. And in this study, it's based on sampling that was done in the Front Range here of Colorado, where 90% of atmospheric wet deposition samples collected from 8 sites in the Front Range contained plastic particles, mostly fibers. One of these sites was in Rocky Mountain National Park, so a pristine area. So that was a very surprising result to find microplastics in that area. And we have a number of resources available that are on our website. We have links to them that you can get to through this link here on this particular slide. And there's clearly a number of research challenges still facing us in the microplastics world. Finally, another way that we are engaging with the water community are occasional congressional briefings. And so we have one coming up just about 1 month from today, and it's going to be a briefing on the Hill in the Rayburn House in Washington, D.C. on PFAS. And PFAS has been very much in the news. Certainly it's had a big impact here in Colorado, but in many other states as well. And we're going to prepare some information based on expert opinions and some of our researchers and the results of some of our projects, because although PFAS has been very much in the news for the last few years, we've been involved with PFAS work for over 10 years. and this is an opportunity to educate congressional staffers on the evolving science and knowledge in this area of both the occurrence and treatment of PFAS. And one of the key things that we do as an organization is to help ensure policy is based on sound science, and that's why we're going to be on the Hill approximately 1 month from today. There's also a number of other opportunities to engage with staff real time. And here we have a few events that are coming up in September where members of the Water Research Foundation staff, or in particular the regional liaisons, will be present. We have the Michigan section of AWWA September 10th through 13th. We will also have representation, not shown on the slide, but nonetheless will be there September 8th through 13th in Keystone, Colorado at the Rocky Mountain section of AWWA, including a listening session on Wednesday, September 11th on biosolids. We'll also be at the Water Reuse Symposium in San Diego, September 8th through 11th, and anyone that's interested should attend the research track 4, which is Hot Topics, and see you at the Water Research Symposium in San Diego. There's also the One Water Summit in Austin, Texas, and finally, of course, WEFTEC that my colleague Mike Dirks touched on in some detail, and we'll have a number of representatives in a booth at WEFTEC.
All right, thank you, Frank. At this time, we have time for any questions. Just as a reminder, you can type them in at any time. So if you have questions about WEFTEC or our new website, anything like that, feel free to type in your questions now and we can address them as they come up.
How about biosolids? What about PFAS and biosolids?
Well, at this time, seeing no questions, we're going to go ahead and close at this time. If you come up with questions after the webcast, feel free to email me or your regional liaison at any time with any questions you have about the new website or any of the upcoming events that the Foundation is involved in. So with that, we will say good afternoon.